The most beautiful woman that I know is named adversity and stress. Why is that? I believe that I perform, specifically me, I perform the best under pressure, adversity, and stress. And what makes me say that, right? Currently, you guys know, or you guys knew before, that I had some bills coming up around the 20th, right? It's currently the 18th, so I only have so much more time to work with. Currently, in my bank account, I got a few hundred, like 170, so not a few hundred, but 170 plus some extra cash I got tucked away, but I don't want to touch it yet. And you guys know one of the bills themselves is $240, so I'm already behind $70. Went to donate blood today. They told me that I have to come back on the 25th and give it a week because I had previously donated at a different clinic, and that puts me in a spot, right? Not a bad spot, but not a good spot particularly. It just puts me in a financial spot. And something I was thinking of, and I had brought to your guys' attention before, was what if I get a job, right? So today I went on a bike ride about 4 miles or so, 4.4 miles, by myself, no headphones, no none of that. Went ahead, biked over to a random job, the pizza place I was talking about, that I was like, yo, this is the only place I work at. I feel so good if I got this job, right? I don't remember if I told you guys or not, but yesterday I went and I basically pulled up and was like, hey, I want a job application. I want to work for you guys. And they were like, okay, cool, we are hiring, but we need closers. Are you able to close? I told him yes. He said, okay, I'll get a job application. He came back and said, my manager has to reprint some, or my higher up has to reprint some, so I can't do it right now. Would you be cool in 5 minutes? I had to go pick up my cousin. I told him, nah, I can't wait that long. I'll be back tomorrow, or I'll be back later today. He said, all right, cool. Come back today, this morning at around like 10 a.m. And I get there. I'm not sweaty. I'm not like super sweaty. But at the bottom of my shirt, like right about here, you can see from where I was like wiping my face like that, right? He could obviously see I just came from some cardio. So I said, it's a black guy, by the way, this time. I go to the counter. I say, yo, bro. I say, good afternoon or good morning. I need a job application. I was here yesterday and I wasn't able to come back in time. He said, okay, cool. Walks to the back. About a minute later, he comes back. Yeah, bro, we're not hiring. We're only looking for drivers. He didn't hand me a job application. He didn't give me any clearance. He just said, we only hire in drivers right now. So I said, okay, bro. My bad for pulling up, my bad. And I walk out and leave. And it had me thinking, and I posted a TikTok about this, but it had me thinking of the reason of why, in the beginning, I did not like having a job. Why I dislike a job. Why is it that I don't like 9 to 5? And it's the fact that you feel as if you're like privileged to work for minimum wage, or you're privileged to work for a company that's gonna slave you. Why is that? Does that make sense to anybody else? Does that make sense? No? But we do it anyways. And it feels like the system itself is built against even the people that work, the working people. I'm lazy, okay? I know I'm lazy. But the hard workers, those people that get after it every day, it feels like the system is against the hard workers, those laborers, those blue collars, even some of the white collars. But any of those people that work hard, the system is literally against you, bro. And the thing is, I was also talking about on my TikTok, I was like, okay, cool. Let's say I had gotten the job. Not only is it a humiliation ritual to even get an interview, because you have to wait hours and days and weeks and months for them to even contact you. And you have to keep pestering them. It feels like you're talking to a toxic woman. You're constantly, hey, can I get some of your attention? Can I get you to respond to me, please? Hey, did I get the job? Did I get the job? Oh, we have a bunch of different applicants we have to... But this isn't supposed to be a rant about jobs. It's about the system itself and how it is built around the failure of anybody that doesn't know how to exploit the system. So to an extent, you must move against the system. When did we get taught that in class? Where was this in textbook fucking 54 that I had to purchase, right? Textbook 56, page 754, section A and B. When was this a thing that I had to study up on? And the thing is, I know this, and I know how the system works, and even I'm slightly struggling, and a lot of other people don't even know how the system works. And this is reminding me of why I made that promise originally to myself, and why I told myself I will not get a job. Because it doesn't matter what I do, the system will be built against me. And I made a similar post the day before yesterday, if not in the beginning of the day. I think it was the beginning of the day. And I was saying how the tax system taxes those that work hard and that don't know the system. Not knowing it. You ever heard that saying that's like, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know? That's completely false. It's about what you know and how you can provide some kind of value to somebody else to know them. Because it's gotten to the point of where the system is like this. You get a job. You work for pennies on the dollar. And when I say pennies on the dollar, I literally mean that. Your employer, the business owner, is making hundreds of dollars when you're making pennies to their hundred. Your manager is making dollars to your pennies. Everybody, it's a hierarchy, and everybody's getting paid less and less the further down you go, and you're the one at the very bottom getting pennies. So back to what I was saying. You're getting pennies on the dollar, and then let's say you work 90 days, or not 90 days, but 40 hours. 40 hours, you're getting paid 15. Let's do some quick math. 15 times 4 is what? 60. $600. That's $600 a week. $600 a week you're getting paid, right? Now hold that. 2 weeks, 1,200. Let's do some quick, easy math. We're gonna take about, 10% off of that for taxes. It's really 20 to 15. And the reason I'm about to say that in a second, but hold with me real quick. You make 1,200. They take 10%. How much is that? 120. 120. That leaves you with what? Shoot, I can't do that much quick math. I'm trying to hold too many places. But you get what I'm trying to say. You take 120 from that, you're left with what? 980, I think. Yeah, something like that. You take that money. That's what you now have. You would think. No, a portion of that is taken into your Roth IRA, which is also a scam in itself. Because what if you don't survive to see that money? Where's that money gonna go? Not to your family. Not to you. You have to wait till you're 65 and decrepit to touch that money. And if you take it out early, we're gonna take 50% of it because that's ours. How is it yours? I've been paying it all my life. What the hell are you talking about? So you're trying to tell me I could have just put that money in my bank account and what happened to Social Security? Oh, this is Social Security. But isn't the whole point of security to be safe? And if I'm not here to take it, then who's here to have it? You're not giving it to my family, so what are you using it for? To give it to Israel? To fund an explosion 5 countries over? What's the... Okay, cool. Anyhow, right? So my $900 something I'm getting, or supposed to be getting, right? Out of the 1,200 that I've worked 80 hours for, right? It's now reduced to 900 something. And then that 900 something's then taken a bit out of, right? You take $50 and put that to Roth IRA, something I'll never see, potentially. And then another $50 is taken out of that money for some random thing, right? And then another 100 is taken out for another random thing. I don't even know where the hell that money's going, right? Now I'm left with $600. $600. Hey, that's great. $600 in 2 weeks. Shoot. After taxes, that's perfect. That is until you have to pay more taxes. We're not done yet. Okay, so that's $600. Immediately, that money is being taken from somewhere else. The second that money hits your bank account, your landlord needs 50% of that, if not more. Right? Right? So $600. At the end of the month, it's 1,200. That's what you should have started off the week with in the second part. Or in the first half, right? Because you made that much off of one paycheck, right? Where the hell did that money go? But anyways, I get 50% of my money. Okay, cool. $1,200. Your employer wants, or not your employer, but your landlord wants $1,000. Your employer takes $1,000. You're left with $200. Now, food isn't free. Once a month, you spend about $100. That is now $100 into food, monthly expenses of food. Now, okay, I'm left with $100, right? That $100 is now cut in half. Why? Gas bill. You're left with $50. Okay, I'm left with $50. What am I gonna do with this? Shoot, I've only spent all my time and effort going to work and back home and going to a cheating wife that I don't like. Shoot, and you better hope you don't have kids. Makes it even worse, right? Shoot, what do I do with this $50? I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it in my bank account and let it compound by 0.01 interest. 0.01 interest, right? I'm just leave it there. You go to sleep. You wake up in the morning to go to work, right? Or maybe it's even your day off. Okay, $50. That's how much you have in your bank account. You're like, you know what, bro? I gotta treat myself. Let me go to the movie theater with my girl. You go to the movie theater. $35 for both of your tickets. All right, $17.50. Okay, bet. Put the card to the thing. It declines. I just have $50 in my shit. But what happened? You look at your bank account. You see a charge from Apple Music for $12. You see a second charge underneath that for a business that you've never heard of in your life. DildoExplosion.com. $7. Spotify Premium. $13. Your girlfriend's asking you what happened, but you can't tell her. So you say, hey babe, we got movies at the crib. I just realized this ain't the smartest thing to do. Basically, what was I trying to get through with that entire analogy, right? You work 80 hours a week, and nobody sees a problem with this. Nobody sees a problem with this. There was a time, and the thing is, I have to mentally bring myself down on off of my pedestal. Because you guys know, back in the day, I used to be making buku money off of day trading. No more. But anyways, I used to be making pretty damn good money off of day trading. A few $1,000s was a weekly paycheck for me. At a bad day, on a bad day, and I only used to trade 2 or 3 times a day, or not a day, 2 or 3 times a week on a heavy week, a week that I'm really off the news. I used to make $1,000, a few $100s a day within a matter of minutes. So here's how I've mentally fried myself, and I'm so I feel like this is with anybody that's been successful at a young age. Holy hell, does it mentally screw you backwards when you have to go working 9 to 5, and that is not even your paycheck after 2 weeks of a gruesome workload. And that's why I say, And I'm not saying that just to toot my own horn. That's why I say the system is built against hard workers. I was not working hard when I was day trading. The only thing I used to do was go to Walmart, but that was funding my day trading on the back end, just in case I had a bad day every once in a while, which happened. Because I was not saving that money. I was spending that money on stupid crap. I was buying hella food. I was eating good. Clothes, food, cars, modifications, services. I was spending that money on everything, right? I was just blowing that money on jewelry and all sorts of stuff, right? First Chrome Heart, first Cartier. I was going crazy, right? I still actually have my Cartier. After all that time, can you even see it? After all that time, I still have my Cartier. I don't even wear it anymore. Why, you may say? And why do I not have the box with it or any of that? And I just have it sitting in a normal place on my desk to remind myself that I used to be there. And yet, like I said, I have to mentally bring myself down to go work a 9 to 5. And the problem with knowing the system or being successful, like I said before, is now that you know the system, having to go back into that broken system is the equivalent of escaping a fire and having to walk right back into it. You have to torture yourself to do it. And I'm not saying working a 9 to 5 is torture. I'm saying making buku money, knowing how the system works, and knowing how it exploits workers that actually work hard is torture. And I never really noticed it until I got out of it and got back into it. And I was like, oh my God. And then you guys are wondering like, yo, why does this guy just not get a job? Like, you're saying you ain't got bread. Like, why would you not get a job? It's because I know how the exploitation goes. Or the exploitation. And it's really jacked up. I'll be real with you. And that's why I see the system as a scam itself. The entirety of the system. From working to being paid to until you die. It's one big loop. Now here's how the rich people completely avoid any of this, right? Your parents are millionaires. They give you money. You take that money. Okay, hold on. Let me give you guys a representation. So we got a remote, right? This represents money. This is you. You're 10 years old now. You've never had to pay a bill in your life. You've gotten everything you ever wanted. You don't need for anything, right? Your parents, the owners of Amazon. Like, wait, what? Your parent, Jeff Bezos. Your parent, Elon Musk. Your first car ever was a Tesla model Cyber Beast. What? You're 10 years old, okay? This is $100,000. You go to your dad one day and you're like, Dad, I want to start making money by myself. You're Jaden Smith now, okay? Dad, I want to start making money on my own. He says, okay, son, what do you want to do, right? You say, I'm thinking about starting a clothing brand. He says, oh, word, okay. Well, I actually have connections to 4 Balenciaga designers. Once again, you're Will Smith's son, by the way. I have the hotline to 4 Balenciaga designers. Virgil's phone number himself. And some random Japanese dude that makes pants that look like an M painted on the back or something like that. I don't even know his brand, right? I'm gonna call them up. I'm gonna give you $1 million to start up your business. Just go crazy with it. Just listen to them, see what you like. If you don't like it, it's all good, right? You're now being mentored by the best of the best. Right? If your business succeeds, you're now a multimillionaire off of rip. I mean, not that you needed the money, but now if your parents ever, branched off, you now have the money, right? Boom. Automatically successful from the age of 10. Now guess who had a life like this? Kanye West's daughter. Like, what are you talking about? She's 12 years old. She's dressed in full Balenciaga every day. She could wear whatever the hell she wants whenever. She probably has people that custom make her shit, to be real. Once again, it's just a luck. It's not about knowing the system. It's about having that competitive edge over everybody else. And I'm right in the, just now getting out of it. So like I said, I'm experiencing it while still being in the middle class. And I'm like, bro, this is crazy disgusting. But the thing is, nobody wants to change the system. And it's not that nobody wants to change it. Let me reword that. It's more of like, we are too scared and too diverse and too unknowing and too ignorant and too foolish to want to change the system. And I told you guys a while ago, I'm not political, right? But I guess this falls under being political in some sense. It's not that I'm political, I just want to see people succeed. I know my videos aren't the most entertaining. It's not flashy, bright colors that are screaming freaking bada bing bada bing and screaming freaking tung 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 sayor or some shit like that, right? It's not straight brain rot content. It's not supposed to be entertaining. It's supposed to be informational. It's not always supposed to be funny, goofy. That's the problem with today's society, right? We're all sitting behind a screen expecting dopamine shots like this, like we're just straight stemming up like octane, right? You're a virtual junkie. That's what you are. You're always chasing a dopamine high. And there's going to be damn near nobody that could watch this full video all the way through. Because it's that complicated for your brain. It's just that fried, bro. And that's why we are yet to move up the ladder. We have mentally regressed hundreds of years, in my opinion. It went from a decade to TikTok being added back to another decade, to another decade, another decade. We don't have the mental stability to rise up, or we don't have the mental stability to move forward. And that's why the 1%, the 10%, the other 30% is beating us by such a large margin. Do you think the wealthiest of the wealthiest allow their kids to be on TikTok and just allow them to just consume all day, every day without teaching them something or keeping them away from that? No. But what are you doing with your sons and daughters? Oh, I don't feel like parenting today. I'm so tired because I just got off of work. Here, take this tablet. Oh, Coco Melon, go watch this. Yeah. Don't bother me. I'm gonna go sit. I'm gonna go smoke a blunt. I'm stressed out. What are we teaching to the youth? What are we giving to the youth? Nothing. We're dooming them and damning them worse than we were by our parents. What is the example that we're giving to the listeners? I can't be talking to myself here, guys. Come on. And I usually don't make content like this. I really don't. I hate having to like get on here and preach. But like, guys, it's getting bad. Like I said, they are gapping us by so far. And we don't want to see it as a competition. We don't want to see it as we're being damned. But that's literally what it is. And it's not going to go any better if we don't make a move. But nobody wants to move. It's not that we're scared. It's not that we're confused. It's that we're ignorant to what's going on around us, our surroundings. We completely, if we're not ignorant and we're not just ignoring it, we're just like, maybe it's not as happening. I'm just in denial. And I see that so much, bro. There's stuff that'll happen and it'll be blatant as hell. It'll be painted on your forehead saying, this is happening. And you will quite literally say, but is it though? I don't think it's happening. Yo, Janice, do you think this is happening? I don't know, bro. I mean, it says something on your head, but it's probably propaganda. They've been prepared for years. They know how this is going. The 1% is prepared. They're going about their life. They're cooling. While we're still sitting in this mousetrap that they created for us in a constant circle like these. You go to work. You get tired. You get off of work. You spend your entire day getting back home. It's now 9 p.m. You repeat the progress. You repeat. You repeat. You repeat. You have kids. You repeat. You repeat. And you're just in a perpetual state. And then you teach your children to be even worse off than you were. Why? Because you're too lackluster in energy. And you wonder, why don't I have any energy? Because it's the system that they put you in, gang. You're a victim, but you keep treating yourself like a victim. Yo, Cooper, what are you talking about, bro? You're just talking crap. You're a victim of a system, but instead of you saying, okay, I am the victim, how can I get out of it? You're waiting for somebody to help you. So you're like, okay, if they're not going to help me, then I'm going to just keep living it. What else can I do? Rent is paid. Rent has to be paid next month. Yeah, rent has to be paid. But you're just going to keep doing what you're doing? You can't, like, it's going to suck. It's really going to suck. And like I said, we've allowed it to get to the point of where, like, we are trapped in it now. A lot of us are trapped in it now. You have bills you have to pay. You have stuff you have to do. You don't have the time or the energy to actually progress in any kind of way. So you sit in a standstill. And a lot of people are so comfortable in that standstill, or so uncomfortable and comfortable at the same time, that they just don't want to move. They don't want the situation to be risked and to potentially get better, but could get worse. That's how they think about it. Oh, well, if I change this, it might make my situation way worse. I'm too tired to actually make a change, because if I do, then like it might get worse. Why not take the risk? I don't want to take the risk. It's too risky. Then nothing will change. It'll just get progressively worse. Why take that risk? You're not going to make the shot if you don't throw it up, okay? And I see this, like I said, on a daily basis. I don't know, bro. It frustrates me because even, like I say, even if I were to personally make it, I'm going to be leaving behind so many people because they don't want to change. And nobody sees a problem around you. Nobody's helping one another. We're all diversified. And it seems like we're all just at each other and we're all tearing each other down. And every time somebody makes progress, we want to bring them down with us because we're scared to move on by ourselves. Why is that? Why are we not pushing up our neighbors, but instead we're tearing them back down to the spot we're at? Nobody thinks of it as, if my neighbor increases, that gives me the opportunity to increase with them. But instead we would rather say, I'm so comfortable in the hellfire that I'm currently in that I wouldn't want to climb out of it. I'd rather my skin peel off of my bones and bring them with me than have a drink of water, just a drop of water, and hopefully make it to the clouds to be drenched in water. What is going on? And it really comes down to, like I said, we lack the mental structure. We lack the sanity, right? To even give ourselves a chance. And it's really tearing us apart as a society, and it's getting worse and worse by the day. And once again, as bad as I want to stay non-political, it's no matter how you cut it, it will be political regardless. And we're all being told to just stay silent, right? And this is why it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Eventually, it's going to get too bad. And there's not going to be a getting out. You're just going to have to deal with it. And then you're going to be like, damn, I wish I had took that step. Damn, bro, Cooper was right. Fuck. Well, I guess better luck next time. Exactly. There is no next time. That's just how the cookie crumbled, bro. Because you were so stun-locked that you didn't want to take a step. Hopefully somebody, just one person, is able to move and say, you know what, bro? Let's try. Let's actually do something different. Let's at least take some of what he said and use it. And then you're going to see your life get a whole lot different. You're going to be like, oh crap, this dude was talking some sense. He's not just another dancing monkey. Okay, let's try doing this. And then you're like, oh my God, this is actually working. Let's do this and this and this. And then you're going to get so progressively different. You won't even be able to recognize yourself in the path. I was able to look at some old videos I had posted on this account, and I was like, bro, I've mentally changed so much, and all it took was me taking one progressive step per day. I made 80 videos. 1%, 1% per video is 80% better than what I was originally. And there was a lot of work behind the scenes that wasn't recorded. But I'm gonna leave it at this. Or I'm gonna leave it at that, actually. I'm not even gonna say anything else. because I'm running out of iPhone storage. I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, how am I feeling today? Does it even freaking matter, dude? No, it doesn't. I'm feeling great though. I'm feeling optimistic for the future, but at the same time, I have so much doubt in my head because I know no matter how much progress we make, we're going to allow the other side to tear us down. There is one common enemy, and we all cannot wrap our head around it. I'm not saying specifically what it is, who it is, or it could be an entity, a person, a group, I don't know. We have one common enemy, one common goal, and we are lacking the unity that is needed to conquer said enemy. And the thing is, we all know this. It's not ignorance, it's denial. But anyhow, I love you guys. I'll see you on the next video. Do 10 push-ups or something. I don't know. I don't have anything inspirational to say after that. But yeah, I love you guys. I'm going to stay working. I don't know about you guys, but hey, I love you guys. Peace. I got a Corey Kitchen video to watch, man.